Good morning everybody, it's Jason here and it's the 6th of April, a Monday, and this is my update for my digging project. It's actually a warm day. It's been getting warmer the last few days. We haven't had rain for a little bit of time, which is not ideal. I'd like a little bit of a downpour every evening, but that's not to be had so far. So a lot's happened in the last couple of days since I last did a video, including what you can see in the background. So let's have a quick look at that first. I've been putting the frame up and trying to work out the best way to put this screening material on. We spent the whole day yesterday putting the frame up, increasing the height of it so that I can hang it without bending down when I go inside. You can see there's various bits of string. I've started untying it again actually, so it doesn't look all in its glory, but you can see you decided to put it so far down the garden, and then we realised that it was only really shading less than half of the area. So I've decided to put some more supports up last night. So you can see that these supports go from one post to the fence at approximately 4 or 5 foot intervals, and then I'm draping this shading material. Apparently it cuts down about 20% of the light, just sort of takes the sting out of it. When you go inside, it just feels measurably cooler inside. It's still pretty hot, I have to say. It's still Antigua and it's still coming into the summer. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking all this down. I put it all up about halfway along. I'm now just taking it down just to show you some of the detail how I'm actually fastening it on. This stuff comes with like a trim on the edge which allows you to tie it. It's got like a sewn trim here which is reinforced, I guess, with holes. I presume that's what you're supposed to do it, how you're supposed to fit it. I don't know, I'm not a professional farmer or anything remotely like that, so I'm not really sure whether this is right. That's what I've been doing so far. At the top we've got like padding to stop it poking, to stop the sharp edges of the wood poking through the netting. Same on the wall. This, just in case you're interested in, is a decrepit yoga mat which has started to disintegrate, but it's great for this sort of process. We're into recycling things. You can see the shade is about halfway down the garden so far. So with these 3 posts in, it goes to about that far there. You can see it's not a huge amount of shade, but it's just a little bit. So what I'm doing, I've put an extra couple of posts in here. These posts are going to allow me to extend the shading almost to the end of the garden. Just a little bit of detail from this end. It's looking a little bit sad because I've really untied it all on one side. As usual, quick seedling update. Radish is looking pretty dreadful. Still haven't planted any more. Coriander, some of those are starting to get the secondary leaves. I really need to start pricking those out. The basil is going great guns, nothing else there. The pumpkin is going mad. So the pumpkin, very successful, lots of seedlings. Still only their primary cotyledons showing the start, some of them starting to bud secondary leaves. So as soon as they are, then I'll repot them. These ones, the Chinese ones, a couple of mimosa, and the cucumbers are going very well. I've spent a few hours today completing the awning or the shaded material on the top of my gardening area. You can see how it's arranged. It's just tied to the tops of these posts at this side where the path is. Path's just here. Just tied on fairly straightforwardly. And then on the other side it's laced. I'll show you that in a little bit of detail. So I took down what you saw this morning, I took it all down and then I put it all back up, but I've extended it. Because it's only tied to the posts every 4 or 5 feet, I've come up with this kind of way of lacing it to the post. And it's only on this one post so far, but I'm going to do it on the others, I think. So it'll also go on this one and these two. Going inside, I can open the gate, go inside, and you can see how it's laced up on this side, and the same is true on here. I decided to put some tacks in the wood cross pieces. The reason for that is just because I didn't have that much string, so looping it all the way around that piece of wood was just using double the amount of string that I thought I needed to, and I had a lot of nails, some tacks, so I just tacked it and then laced it all the way along. It's laced up the side and at the top of the gate post. Hard to fit it all in one single shot now, but I thought I'd just do one from the end just to give you a little view of the whole structure. Looking into the light, so it's not a particularly good shot, sorry about that. The time has finally come to pot some of these on, prick them out or pot them on, however you want to talk about it. So these are the squash from the original plantings on the 20th of March. So it's the 6th of April, so they've been in, what, 16 days, 17 days. Some of these little tomatoes have got secondary leaves. I'm going to do those as well. Those onions, I might just leave them, not quite sure. These ones I think I've given up on. So that was one of the varieties of onions, the two lettuce varieties, and the pepper haven't done anything. Oh, hang on. There's one there. I've just noticed that. So after 16, 17 days, one of those has finally decided to germinate. So that's one of the peppers that I planted on the 16th. Let me have a closer look at all the others. I was all ready to throw out the soil and give up on these seedlings, but that one has started to seed. So I think that might be a different variety of pepper than the ones I got off Carey, that the ones that have done really, really well. Some of these seeds are very old, like a couple of years out of date. So I'm not overly surprised that they didn't germinate at a particularly high level. I only planted 8 of those pepper seeds. So 1 out of 8, I guess, what, 15%, something like that germination. So it's not too bad, but it took the full 2 weeks, slightly more than 2 weeks to germinate. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and seed these onions and these gems again in a higher density format. So what I'm going to do is use just a lot more seeds and just see if I can get anything at all to come up. Even if I had a germination of say 5% or something like that, I wouldn't have seen anything in this. But if I plant a lot of seeds, I might get a few. I'd be really, really keen to get a few lettuces going. I don't know how well they're going to grow here anyway, but I'm going to repot these now anyway, so I'll show you that when I've done. I've now repotted some of these tomatoes and squash seedlings. Squash seedlings seem to go pretty well. This one's gone all droopy for some reason. It's still turgid, so it's not, I don't think it's terminal. I think it just sort of, I don't know really why it flopped over. Same happened with these tomatoes. When I potted them, they didn't have such extensive roots as the squash. Maybe I've repotted them a little bit early. They do seem to be recovering a little bit. Since I put them on the windowsill here, they have started to move towards the light again. So that one, for example, you can see how it's really bent. It's really responding. So hopefully I haven't killed them. These ones are still going strong, the peppers and the dill. Leave them in till they get their secondary leaves before I do anything with it. This dark dingy corner is where we normally keep our bowl of fruit and other such things. And I've just gone a bit crazy and planted a whole load of seedlings. So there's these 4 are passion fruit, these 4 are cherry tomatoes, fresh from seed. So these ones are a couple of weeks behind the others on the windowsill I've just repotted. I've also planted some cantaloupe and some watermelon seeds, which I got from fruit that we bought in. I'm not really sure whether they're going to grow, and if they grow, whether they're going to give us any fruit. I've also planted some Einsalat and Kopfsalat, which is the 2 lettuce varieties. One of them is gem, one of them is something else. Didn't grow very well last time, so I've just planted some more. So hopefully these will go good. This corner's nice and warm, but it's not too bright. So as soon as they start to come out, I'll have to move them to a slightly sunnier position. But we're running out of space for seedlings. That's it for the day again, folks. Finally managed to get back in the hammock. It's been another couple of days since I managed to get in it. And as you can see, it's more or less night. It's getting on. So hopefully we'll be doing some more gardening tomorrow. Hopefully you're all finding things to do as well, staying safe, keeping out of other people's way, not spreading the virus, and maybe doing a bit of gardening. So I'll see you later. Bye.